Good morning Year 3 and welcome to day 2 of our focus on fractions. Here are the answers to yesterday's problems. Now, if there was anything that you didn't understand or you weren't sure about, there is a Year 3 maths blog on Purple Mash, so please feel free to go on there and ask a question. And as usual, if you spot any of my mistakes, because I do make them, please feel free to point it out on there. I quite enjoy when you do that. Now this one, hopefully you realise that the reason that they weren't all the same was because we didn't have equal parts in some of these shapes. So set your timer for 5 minutes, please, and begin with today's Fluent in 5. And here are the answers. So another quick recap today. This model has 5 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the equal parts are green. When I made this, they were green, they've printed out blue. So the fraction of parts that are green is 5/5, because we have 5 equal parts and all 5 of them are green or blue. And we know that 5/5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is the same as one whole because they are all coloured and the whole model is coloured. So 5/5 is the same as one whole, and it's really important that we remember that when we have the same numerator and the same denominator, that we call it one whole, because sometimes you'll see a question which won't ask you to add or subtract a fraction that's written like this. It may say, what is 1 plus something, or 1 take away something? So you need to remember that one whole can also be written as a fraction depending on the number of parts that it's split into. So here we have another model split into equal parts again, but they're coloured differently. I'd like you to tell me how many equal parts there are, how many are red and how many are yellow, and then the fraction of the whole that is red and yellow. Pause the video and have a go at that. So hopefully you'll have recognised the model has 5 equal parts. So the whole model, even though there are 2 different colours in there, has 5 parts. 2 parts are red and 3 parts are yellow. So the fraction of the whole that is red is 1/2 parts out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we write that as 2/5. The same for yellow, 3 parts out of 5, so we have 3/5. So we know that together 2/5 and 3/5 makes one whole. We could also have written that as 5/5. So this is just another way of representing it, and it's a bit of a word problem as well. And this would be useful if you were solving a word problem involving fractions. Doing some drawings or models like this do help. So Harry's cake is cut into how many equal parts? Well, we'll have to count that to sell at the cake sale. The fraction of Harry's cake that is eaten, so we've got 3 here that are eaten, we've got that on a model across here. The fraction of Harry's cake that is sold, and the fraction of Harry's cake that is left. So what we need to look at first is how many equal parts there are. We do that by counting the whole cake. And we can see that there are 8, and on the model there are 8. So the fraction of Harry's cake that is eaten, we count the 3 slices, and we know that there are 8 in total. So the fraction that is eaten are 3/8. So carry on with the rest of that problem, pause the video and work out the rest of the answers and fill this sentence in, please. Hopefully you will have worked out that the fraction of Harry's cake that is sold is 3/8, because we have 3 parts out of 8 and the same on the model. And then the fraction of Harry's cake that is left is 2/8, because again we've got 2 out of 8 here and here. Then we can write the statement 3/8 plus 3/8 and 2/8 make one whole. You can see that here, 3/8, 3/8 and 2/8 make one whole. We could also have written that as 8/8, correct. So today, your task, now this one is quite tricky. When I did the answers, it blew my mind. So take your time, because what fraction of each shape is not shaded? So you are looking at the shape, each portion of the shapes that are white. Your eyes will be drawn to the colour, believe you me. So you'll have to think really carefully about what fraction of each of these is not shaded first of all, and then you need to match it to the fraction written in words and the fraction written in numbers. Here is an example of the next part of the task. You need to colour in 2 or more parts of each of these shapes, so it's entirely up to you, and then your answers will then depend on how many of them you've coloured in. So in this one I've coloured 3, so I know that 3 parts out of 4 parts are shaded, therefore 3/4 of the shape is shaded and 1/4 of the shape is not shaded. So depending on how many of each of these you colour, you need to work out how many parts out of how many equal parts are shaded, how many are not shaded, what fraction is shaded and what fraction is not shaded. So if you follow this example here, that will help you. And then finally, a couple of problems. A chocolate bar has 10 equal parts. I want you to work out how much has been eaten, etc. And then this one is a bit trickier, but if you just take it a step at a time, you will be able to work it out as parts that are missing. But altogether, think about how many parts there are in total, which you've given up here, and that will help you. And good luck, and we'll come back with the answers tomorrow.